Well, Lachlan Stuart is on a mission to run 58 marathons in 58 days across 58 states in the US and Australia. And he's just a few short hours away from achieving his goal. Incredible. Lachie joins us now from Brisbane ahead of his final run. Hey, Lachie, how are you?
Hey, Bridget. Thanks so much for having me on. I am feeling a mix between excitement and exhaustion at this point with the last one in sight.
Yes, I'm sure underline exhausted a few times. Tell us all about this journey you've been on, Lachie, and why?
Yeah, so about 14 months ago, the idea came. I was in a bit of a rut and I was speaking to a guy called the Iron Cowboy, and he said how he found purpose in doing a big challenge like this. It brought the community together and it was a great way to raise funds for an initiative. And for us, we're raising funds for the Mental Awareness Foundation. And I asked my wife, initially she said, no way, that is not happening. And 2 weeks later, she turned around and said, look, you can do it. And my brother-in-law, who's been managing it all, was like, I'm on for that. So we embarked on this crazy adventure around America, making me the first person in history to do it during winter, the 50 States Marathon Challenge, and the third person in history to have done that. And I couldn't have done it without an incredible team and I guess the drive for a bigger picture, which is helping raise awareness for mental health, bringing communities together to get active and obviously raise funds for the Mental Awareness Foundation.
Oh, absolutely incredible. Good man, Lachie, asking your wife first just to make
yeah,
sure.
It's always the first thing.
Puts a bit of pressure, I'm sure, on everyone. What an incredible adventure you've had. Tell us why mental awareness? What for you resonates in terms of trying to raise awareness of all of the different strains that mental health and mental health conditions puts on Australian life and everyday people? It's a really tough thing to talk about, isn't it?
Definitely. And I was first experienced a friend taking their life by suicide when I was 15, and it was something that we never spoke about. And I still remember it was on the front page of the paper where I grew up, and I just always pull that out from under the bed and cry about it, put it back under and carry on with my life. And at a young age, that had a profound impact on me. And obviously with all the research and the data and the conversations happening, we know 1 in 4 people are directly or indirectly impacted by it. So for me, it's something that I've been campaigning for nearly a decade now, because I've personally experienced poor mental health, but I've also experienced great mental health. And I believe that, you know, life is full of seasons, and it's what we represented within the run. We represented all seasons and all terrains, running through winter and blizzards. And then we're in Darwin yesterday where it was extremely humid and extremely hot. And sometimes when you're going through those summer times, life feels amazing and it feels like everything's going well for you. And then winter pops up and maybe you need a bit more support, you need a bit more help, and we just need to learn to navigate that. So that was one of the, I guess, the real big missions of running through the different terrains and the different seasons, and why I believe people should be continuing to put their hand up and say, hey, I'm not in the best headspace at the moment, or maybe something in my relationship's not working, or I've just lost my job and I need my support and I need my community to help me through this. Wow,
so it's had a really meaningful analogy for you doing all of these runs. You just mentioned Darwin in the wet season. It is really humid there. What about some of the other marathons you've done, the other runs? Have there been some that have stuck in your mind? I mean, each, I guess, has been different in their own way.
Yeah, Alaska was memorable just because we were expecting like extremely cold and blizzards, but it was a beautiful ice snow run where the temperature was probably, I think, -11. But there was one town in particular that stands out, and it's in the middle of nowhere. It's called Webo in Montana, and it was so cold, I think around -20. Every morning we had this time called procrastination hour where we'd wake up, we'd check our phone to see what the temperature was, and we'd either be like, okay, boys, we're going back to bed, or we're going to get up and get it done. And it was just like running through a wind tunnel. We had about 2 kilometres to go up and back for 42.2 kilometres, and that breeze and the rain and the cold was just, yeah, like running in a freezer. And I'll never forget that, because it really, you know, pushed me down mentally. That time did, definitely.
Yeah. Were you worried that you wouldn't make it? I imagine that would be a fear for most ordinary people taking on this challenge, that it just might have been too much. And how have you kept your body and your mind and your spirit going throughout it all?
Definitely. I actually got injured on day 1. I injured my toe and it went black, and then both my ankles swelled up to the point where I couldn't tie my shoes because I was so fat. And on day 3, I actually had to, day 5, I walked a marathon, and it took about 8.5 hours around a baseball field in West Wendover. And once again, it was about -20. So that was miserable. And my brother-in-law, Liam's like, mate, if we continue like this, I think you're probably going to have to pull the plug. And I kind of felt trapped in that moment because I had set this goal, I'd told people what I wanted to do, and I also believed I could do it. I just had that unfortunate injury. And for whatever reason, I didn't let that stop me. I was like, if I need to walk, I'll walk because I want to, achieve this. I want to prove to myself and to other people what's possible and how incredible the mind and body can be, even if you feel like, you've got nothing left. And so that was one of those moments for sure.
Lachie, you're incredible for doing this for such a greater cause. Good luck with your final run. We're cheering you on here from News Breakfast headquarters. And just tell people how they can support you on this final leg of this incredible tour that you've done.
Thanks so much, Bridget. Yeah, if anyone wants to donate, you can head over to the mentalawarenessfoundation.org and donate there. Or better yet, if you're in Brisbane, come down to Howard Smith Wharfs this afternoon from 4 o'clock. And I'll be finishing around 6 p.m, but I'd love to have as many people there as possible. One, not only to cheer me in, but also show people that we rally behind mental health and everyone's got a place, because better mental health starts at one step at a time.